Hi, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to this webinar on multi-channel publishing presented by Peter Keown of Easy Partner Mugo Web and Carol Ott, publisher and editor-in-chief at Habitat. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We have put all participants on mute, so please send in your questions via the chat box for our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So without further ado, I'll hand over to you, Peter.
Thanks very much, Sue. Hi, everybody. Great to be with you today. My name is Peter Keown. I'm the Managing Director of Mugo Web, and I'm here with Carol Ott, who is the Publisher and Editor-in-Chief of Habitat Magazine. Today, we're going to discuss Habitat's ongoing evolution from a traditional print-only B2B magazine to a multi-channel digital publication. We'll look at a series of digital features we've implemented for Habitat and how they are driving revenue and building deeper reader engagement. I'll be presenting the slides today, and Carol will be available at the end of the presentation to answer any questions you might have. First off, let me tell you a little bit more about Habitat Magazine. Habitat is an independent paid circulation publication that focuses on the concerns of co-op and condo board directors and property managers in the greater New York area. It currently has about 7,500 paid subscribers. Its primary target audience is board directors for residential co-ops, condos, and homeowner associations. So it's a clearly defined high-value audience. And this defined focus creates unique challenges for growth. Really quickly, the only slide about my company. Habitat Magazine began partnering with Mugo Web 9 years ago. And our first project together was one of Habitat's early multi-channel initiatives. It was podcast. Since then, we've been Carol's strategic and implementation partner as she has grown her multi-channel platform. And we've worked with many major brands in several verticals, including other publications, nonprofits, libraries, healthcare, and much more. And Mugo builds long-lasting websites for businesses where content is key. So back to Habitat. Habitat has to get creative with its digital strategy because its ability to scale is limited. It's limited to a relatively small geographic area. New York, as big as it is just one market, and Habitat currently targets a very specialized area of that market. And traditional digital monetization strategies are often designed to work at national or even international scales. So Habitat's growth initiatives are focused on creating new digital revenue streams and engagement for its established user base. In some cases, this has meant trial and error. And so Habitat has had to be agile in its ability to respond to its market with new offerings. Like many print publications, Habitat first launched a simple website. This was the early 90s. And when it became clear that it needed to build out a more comprehensive digital strategy, Carol and her team moved to Easy Platform, it was then Easy Publish, at the end of the 90s. And so it's been truly a multi-decade evolution. On to Habitat's goals for its digital transformation. These are probably familiar to most traditional print organizations who are making a similar shift. First of all, Habitat wants to maintain core subscription and advertising revenues. This might sound familiar. Habitat continues to make a huge investment in content for its high-value audience, and it wants new features and channels to be additive to its subscribers' overall experience. Secondly, evolve content in step with the Habitat audience, which is increasingly digital first. Habitat's core audience has traditionally preferred print content distribution, but as younger people join co-op and condo boards, Habitat's content has had to evolve to keep pace with its audience's changing preferences. This is true not only of readers, but also advertisers who increasingly want to reach Habitat subscribers in online interactive channels. And thirdly, grow digital revenues. Habitat is a business, and each new digital experience needs to clearly demonstrate that it is going to generate revenue or increase reader engagement in a strategic way that will eventually lead to new revenue. We appreciate bells and whistles, but only if they pay off. Now, Habitat has tackled these three core goals with several initiatives, and its strategies continue to evolve. Today, we'll look at 4 specific projects that our team at Mugo Web has helped Habitat to conceptualize and implement, and the impact each has had on Habitat's core business. A quick overview. Early on, we began with the familiar and built a gated digital archive to drive subscription revenue. We also implemented Google Ad Manager and introduced web ads to offer another media option to the advertisers who make up a significant amount of Habitat's revenue. Later, we began to add a variety of multi-channel content experiences. For example, Habitat might dedicate a print issue to a special topic with a corresponding special site section and sponsorship opportunity. Coupled with email newsletters and blasts, these programs create a consistent experience that's compelling to both readers and advertisers. And Habitat has also conducted a variety of digital experiments, including launching an e-learning platform, producing digital editions, and publishing these digital editions to Amazon. The agility of the Easy Platform digital experience platform, DXP, has enabled Habitat and our team at Mugo to innovate without facing prohibitive development costs. Habitat's willingness to try creative new strategies has led to many successes, and even when an experiment doesn't quite meet its 3 core business goals, Habitat can recalibrate its strategies with a better understanding of its audience. So let's take a closer look at each of these initiatives. The Habitat Archive is a searchable, structured repository of the print magazine's content. As a business publication, a lot of Habitat's reporting has evergreen value to its core audience, so an online repository makes sense. Articles in the archive are taken directly from the print version. Users can search or drill down by topic, type, and issue. And here we're using a gated content model that allows readers to see a few articles before requiring them to sign up. We actually revised this model after launch to allow a few initial views without any gated message or counter. And we also undertook an SEO revamp to make the content easier to find as a way to promote the feature. And users can opt for a 24-hour pass or an annual pass. So what have we learned with the archive? At first, we had several subscription options, including daily, weekly, and annual passes. We've since consolidated these options, dropping the weekly pass, and we've seen that most people opt for the digital annual bundle. This includes the archive as well as the digital magazine and e-newsletters. This has also given Habitat a better understanding of its audience. Specifically, Habitat has come to believe that its web audience is more motivated by new media formats, especially video. The archive is realizing additive revenue from Habitat's daily editorial operations, which were already lucrative. And now Habitat can take advantage of this asset in entirely new ways. For instance, as a specialized knowledge base for a co-op board of directors. And Habitat is also planning to launch a gated legal content knowledge base. And this will be based on the current archive architecture. Having all its content in a scalable DXP enables Habitat to quickly respond to any such opportunities in its market where information is considered at a high premium. Google Ad Manager. Integral to the current Habitat website design is a variety of digital ad slots. These allow Habitat to package relevant display sponsorships for each section of the site. Google Ad Manager provides an easy interface for scheduling ad runs and managing delivered inventory. Habitat positions these sponsorship packages as branding experiences for its advertising clients, rather than just commodity CPM buys. Advertisers don't bid for the lowest rate per thousand. Instead, they build their brands by being closely associated with high-quality editorial content. This targeted directly to their most desirable audience in their local market. And they can block out a specific section of the site, such as green buildings, and ensure that they are seen by exactly their target audience. So in many ways, it's the same value proposition as a traditional B2B print magazine, but online. And web advertising has doubled since we implemented Google Ad Manager on the Habitat website, and that's a number that stands on its own. It's important to stress that this success is due largely to how Carol and her team package display ads into high-value sponsorships. The supporting technology makes it so that they don't have to pause to question whether something is technically possible. Which brings us to the next step in Habitat's digital evolution. Habitat has developed several multi-channel interactive user experiences that also provide unique sponsorship opportunities. For example, these include Ask the Experts, which are sponsored videos showcasing industry insiders, and Seeking Counsel, which offers legal insights. This multi-channel editorial is high quality and high value, where the digital elements build upon the print elements. Typically, one of these initiatives begins with a themed print edition of the magazine. In order to penetrate more of this audience, a sponsor might want to contribute more money and sometimes useful content for the web. A written story can then expand into audio and video, which then anchor a multi-channel online experience that includes display advertising. Revenues from multi-channel editorial experiences have grown by 68% since 2016. And this three-pronged strategy of print, video, display has proven so successful that Habitat has developed branded offerings on many topic areas that feature interviews with property managers, attorneys, and industry insiders. And with each of these offerings, Habitat continues to create new revenue streams as well as produce relevant content for its website. And multi-channel has become a primary conduit between its readership and sponsors. Based on its digital success, Habitat wanted to explore a new type of sponsored content online, and it launched Habitat U. It's an e-learning platform. Habitat offers Habitat U courses for free. To reduce friction and encourage user adoption, we implemented single sign-on for registered Habitat subscribers through Easy Platform. And the revenue model is to charge industry experts a sponsorship fee to be featured as an expert in the course. And once sponsorships are secured, the Habitat team handles all the production. In general, Habitat users have responded well to Habitat U content. So in that regard, it's been a success. However, Carol and her team have found that the revenue opportunities for Habitat U don't fully justify the effort and expense of creating such high-value content. So the Habitat team is refocusing its efforts on channels with better return on investment. Habitat U will thus be discontinued this spring. That said, Habitat U was profitable, but just not profitable enough. And Habitat was able to quickly explore this avenue without a big investment and decide to focus on other initiatives. And they can learn from this experiment. Now on to some other experiments. With digital editions, Habitat wanted to let users purchase digital copies of its print editions. And Habitat uses the Blue Toad platform to build and host its digital editions. In the Easy Platform DXP, users or editors simply select a checkbox to indicate that a digital edition has been produced for an issue. And this triggers an integrated payment and authentication process that is handled by Habitat's existing fulfillment company. And Habitat has also began publishing digital editions through the Subscribe with Amazon program, both as one-off issues and annual subscriptions. But in terms of sales, digital editions have been relatively unsuccessful. Sales have been low, and the initial decision to offer the magazine in PDF format proved unattractive. However, this experiment introduced Habitat to the Blue Toad platform, and new experiments in online distribution are in the works. For example, while working with Blue Toad on the digital editions experiment, Habitat discovered its capability to deliver selected content in HTML-only format. And they've branded this Habitat Week by Week. Habitat had previously been publishing subscriber-only content to users via a mobile app, which they had to download. The content was prompted by email, which was sponsored, but limited adoption of the proprietary app also limited revenue opportunities. Habitat decided to move to an HTML delivery platform, which users can access on any device without the need to download an app. This opens the door to more sponsorships. And since the change in delivery platform, readership for Habitat Week by Week is up 400%, with an average of 400 or 500 readers a week. It's also much easier to sell sponsorships in the channel, since users can access the content when and where they want. Based on this success, Carol and her team are launching another product, Habitat Essentials, which will publish twice a month and is supported by a single sponsor. It will be hosted on the website and promoted to subscribers by email. So what are the biggest lessons Habitat has learned during its ongoing evolution from a traditional print publisher to a multi-channel digital platform? Well, first of all, investing in digital doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can piggyback on print strategies. And learning about your audience is a key win for any digital experience. Some of Habitat's experiments have not yielded immediate ROI, but have proven to be the basis of new successful channel launches. So be sure to measure user response and react accordingly. Multi-channel programs have proven to be extremely successful, both in reader engagement and revenue generation. So you can allow users to engage with your content in the channel and format that works best for them, and revenue opportunities will follow. And all of this is made possible with a flexible multi-channel DXP that makes experimentation with new products and content delivery services easy and cost-effective. So that concludes our presentation today. We hope you found it useful. Carol and I will now be available to answer any questions you might have. And if you have any broader questions about your own digital strategy, feel free to email me, peter@mugo.ca. Thanks again.
So Carol, the presentation mentions your plans for legal content services based on the current Habitat archive architecture. How are you going to reuse the Habitat architecture, archive architecture, and why?
We are creating something called Case Law Tracker. And in the co-op condo community, there's a finite number of cases that matter a lot to boards and to the legal people who counsel boards. So we're going to use the same architecture and the search functions that we developed with the archive, but we're going to make it look different. And obviously the content is going to be different. And because we're using the same architecture and it's launching off of our website, the cost to launch this new case law tracker, I don't want to say it's minimal, but it's nothing like as if we were going to start it on a brand new website and have to create the architecture from scratch. We also hope to sell the case law tracker for a fair amount of money to legal firms. So I think it will prove to be a good investment and really good content for us.
Great. Can you also tell us how Easy Platform has helped you manage and get the most value out of video and any other content formats that usually would be expensive to produce?
We do a lot of video and spend a lot of time in developing video, and I think our video is pretty high quality. Using the, I haven't really worked with other platforms, but using the Easy platform, we're able to pull in video and host it in a variety of formats, really pretty easily and without a huge expense. We use JW Player, we use YouTube, and it's made our life pretty easy. We come up with sections that we want to do or things that we want to do in video, and then kind of our only challenge is to figure out the way we want it to present on our website. So easy, it seems whatever we want to do, the Easy platform allows us to do obviously with Mugo's help, relatively easily.
And one final question. Peter mentioned the recent success with Habitat week by week. As your audience is increasingly moving to a digital first model, how does mobile factor into your long-term planning?
Well, I'm just going to say as a caveat, board directors of co-ops and condos tend to be older. They have time. They may have lived in their apartment buildings for quite a while. Older people like print. That said, in looking down the road, the older people will be replaced by younger people, and younger people are digital first people. And so with that in mind, in terms of looking down the road, we want to make sure that our content is available in a nice format, in a nice digital format. And, I don't know anybody who doesn't read or look at stuff on, on their phones, or if they have iPads or some other kind of digital device. So, we really noticed the huge difference with our app, which we had, we had it years ago, and, we thought we were really well ahead, certainly of most publishers. But what we found is our app was contained within the App Store. So it's like we put an artificial limit of how it could be discovered, or how an old person could figure out how to get it. Once we transition to Blue Toad, and there are a variety of platforms that do this, where we have things available really on HTML. It was astounding how our readership jumped. Because anybody could now read it without having to go to the App Store and download an app, and so having something without some kind of artificial gate on it for us has proven to be really important.
Thanks very much. I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks to Peter and Carol for presenting. Be on the lookout for a link to the recording, and do check out our website, easy.no, for more information on the topic. You can download the Digital Publishing Evolution ebook, or if you want to schedule a demonstration of Easy Platform, you can do it there. Thanks very much, everyone. Good evening.